Hello, I'm Tim Krul. Welcome to Norwich City Central.
Hello, everybody. Lewis, Norwich City Central. I hope you're doing well. Norwich came into this game losing 6 games in a row. Brighton came into this game losing 6 games in a row. The two worst teams in the division on form. Something had to give, and they're both taking home a point. 0-0 draw for Brighton. It's far from an ideal result. Brighton's terrible form continues, but Brighton are going to be safe from relegation. As for Norwich, it's a point on the board. They showed a bit of resilience, some really good moments at defending, but ultimately looked far from producing any kind of quality. Had only one real opportunity on goal, and Brighton deserved the 3 points, and if it wasn't for their wasteful finishing, they would have got the 3 points. So some positives to take for Norwich, but in their quest to survive, a point is not good enough. Any kind of a point away from home is normally good enough, and for Norwich it's normally a good point on the board, but in the context of which Norwich City were playing this game, it had to be 3 points to give themselves even a smidge of hope, and they couldn't get it, and to be honest, Brighton deserved the 3 points, had the better passages of play, created really good opportunities, and as for Norwich, they struggled to get out of their own half and try to assert their identity and dominance on the game. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments section on how Norwich City approached the game, and how you see kind of Norwich's 8 remaining games kind of running, how you see the running going, because from a Norwich City perspective, it's still evident just the lack of quality in all areas, particularly in the midfield and the attacking areas of the pitch. So in terms of the action, Norwich started the game with the 4-4-2 diamond, 4-4-2 narrow diamond, with Lees Malou and Billy Gilmore kind of on the flanks, Kenny McLean in that number 10 role, and Rashika and Pookie up front. It's a system we haven't seen before, and what I've admired about Dean Smith, look, Dean Smith's come in, and of course the recruitment is the number one issue why Norwich is set to go down, and obviously some finger blaming has been pointing toward Dean Smith, which I do kind of understand, but what I have enjoyed about Dean Smith in the Premier League is his kind of proactive nature in terms of his formations. We've seen a variety of different formations, which maybe does show that whatever he's tried hasn't worked so far, but at least it shows a proactive nature. And the 4-4-2 narrow diamond was the next formation that he's tried to implement, but it didn't work particularly well in terms of trying to stamp our own identity on the game, and that was my take-home message from the game. In terms of our defending, I thought we was very resilient, which was refreshing to see, but we never really had a clear identity, clear game plan, a clear way of trying to hurt Brighton, and for Brighton's defenders, it was a very comfortable 90 minutes for them. They just lacked the quality at the other end of the pitch. But no, Brighton, very intricate play, getting their fullbacks very high up the pitch, causing problems, trying to play between the thirds, something that Norwich couldn't do at all in that first half, and for the majority of the second half. Alexis McAllister having some really good opportunities just outside the box, one going just wide of Tim Krul's post, and then another which was 10 minutes from the end, a really nice free kick plan from Brighton, where they play it short to McAllister, and his shot goes just wide of the post. But the main talking point of that first half was a bizarre moment from Sam Byram, and a moment of madness from Sam Byram. A cross comes in, Sam Byram raises his hand up in the air, and it hits his hand, and it's the clearest penalty you're going to see in the Premier League. A moment of madness. Not sure why Sam Byram does it. The only assumption being that maybe the Brighton player maybe slightly gives him a nudge, so he's trying to raise him in protest to say that's a foul. But no, a really poor moment from Sam Byram, who since returning from injury has been very good, to be honest. But in terms of a man between the sticks, there's no one you'd rather want as a goalkeeper than Tim Krul. Maybe in world football, in my opinion, he's just brilliant in between the sticks, getting into players' heads. And it was another incident where the ball doesn't go in the back of the net when Tim Krul's in it. Neil Maupay having the penalty 12 yards out and hitting it over the bar. And it was a day to forget for Maupay. Had some really good opportunities in the game, but couldn't score. And in the reverse fixture, which was that 0-0 draw at Carrow Road when Daniel Farke was in charge, that game involved the Josh Sargent open goal missed. It also involved Neil Maupay missing a really good opportunity in that game. So not his best 2 games when playing against Norwich this season. But in terms of Norwich, we couldn't hurt Brighton at all in that first half. And just looking at us play, we didn't particularly press at all without the ball. Brighton had 65% possession, and the reason why we didn't press is because Brighton are a good team at playing in between the lines, and if we did press them all over the pitch, Brighton would have picked us to pieces. But we didn't keep the ball very well, primarily because we don't have the quality. I think a lot of our midfielders are a jack of all trades, master of none, and we didn't keep the ball very well. We didn't have the pace to get up the pitch. And we didn't have the kind of strikers to hold up the play. So it was a mismatch of players, it was a mismatch of ideas, and that led to Norwich City not hurting Brighton throughout the whole of that first half and the majority of the second half too. In terms of the second half, I mean, we continued to endeavour with that formation, and it didn't really work. There was one instance where Rashika, a long ball from Kenny McLean, and Rashika managed to get on the end of it inside the box, but there was a block came in to deny a shot on goal. But Brighton caused us a lot of issues, and from corners as well, which is not a surprise. Norwich had a terrible run of conceding corners, and the corner that hurt me the most, which Norwich City conceded, was the one against Brentford, of course, what about a month ago now, where we was in that pivotal game against Brentford, and in pivotal games, first goals are so important. And 30 minutes through the first half, Brentford have the corner, it's flicked on, and Ivan Toney sticks it away from a few yards at the back post. And you've got to make sure you get those set piece basics back right, and Norwich haven't done that in recent games. And Brighton should have scored at least one of their corners. Veltman having a really good opportunity, a Brighton player flicking it onto Veltman, 12 yards out, his header going into the back of the net if it wasn't for a brilliant reflex save from Tim Maupay. Having another flick on where it falls to Maupay 12 yards out, and his shot goes just wide of the post. And Lewis Dunk as well, having another opportunity kind of in the 70th minute where the corner's flung in, Dunk free header, and it goes just wide of Krul's post. So Norwich were defending these corners in not particularly the best light. And Brighton continued to create some interesting opportunities. Some nice intricate play with Trossard, McAllister, and they caused us problems, particularly down Dimi Giannoulis' side, who I thought had a good game, to be honest, but they caused us problems down that side. Trossard getting in to the byline, sticking it to Maupay, and yet again he misses. So they did have their opportunities, Brighton. And in terms of Norwich, didn't really cause any issues except from one moment, 10 minutes to go. Pukki manages to get rid of the Brighton defender. He's going through on goal. It's a 2-on-2 when John Rowe and Rashika. Pukki plays the ball to the back stick to Rashika, 12 yards out. You're thinking it's a big opportunity, and he just blazes it over the bar, and it's a huge opportunity wasted. I don't know what Rashika's thinking there. Comes to Pukki, he's got the time to take it down and then get his shot off, but I just think he had it in his mind, I'm going to hit this first time, and the ball maybe is just a little bit higher than he likes, so he kind of hits, gets over the ball. But really poor opportunity, Rashika, and for how good he has been this season, we've been too reliant on goals from Teemu Pukki, and we've needed players like Rashika to step up in big moments, and I'm not sure he's necessarily done that despite improving the team. So it ends 0-0. I would like to see Norwich maybe be a little bit more adventurous in those last 10 minutes and try and go all out maybe, because the draw's not good enough. But then of course we did that against Leeds, and maybe Norwich players had a little bit of trauma from the manner in which they lost against Leeds. But in terms of Norwich positives to take, I thought Grant Hanley was man of the match. I thought his defending is absolutely outstanding, and the whole back line did really well. I thought Sandberg recovered well. And the midfield, worked at times in terms of breaking the play down. But in terms of what Norwich were trying to do from an attacking point of view, we didn't have a shot on target all game, and we never really had a clear identity and a clear game plan. And in a game which Norwich had to win, coming up against a team whose form has been really poor, you'd like to have seen Norwich cause Brighton more problems. And it's just an indictment of the lack of quality and the poor recruitment that have put Norwich in this mess yet again. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. Subscribe to Norwich City Central if you're new, and I'll see you later.